Okay.
Vinita, Rekha.
All of you saw, so I'm very happy. So can somebody tell me just one point from what you learned? So there are a couple of points. So I can ask different people, one point. So Vinita wants to say something. Anything urgent? She has a question.
No, she didn't have a question. She had responded to the YouTube. She had seen the video. No, I told her to turn it on.
Okay. So anybody would like, any volunteers who wants to say something? So what was the topic we did last time? First of all, what was the topic?
There's a new joinee, Mataji. He says that he was not able to see the YouTube. You see phone, I think he's joined 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so I can send you the link and you can become part of the YouTube channel.
Okay, Mataji. He'll do that.
Right. So, so what was the topic we did last time? First of all, I want to know what is the heading of the topic.
Soul, Mataji, we learned about
soul. No, we didn't do about soul. What was the main topic? Yes, of course.
body.
Soul.
Body, Mataji, Ganesh Prabhu saying
What body? What body?
And the subtle body and the gross body.
Okay, so basically we covered only gross body last time. Right. So I will do a quick review of the pointers, and those who missed can quickly pick up from these points. So gross body is something that we can see, touch, we can feed, we can clean, and we can dress up. Like all of you who are sitting here, what are you able to see? You are seeing each other's gross body. So whatever is visible to our eyes is actually gross body. Now this gross body is made up of 5 elements. The elements are earth. I type down. I'll type, sorry, you continue. So the first element is earth. Second element is water. Third element is air. Fourth is fire. And the fifth element is space or the sky. We can call it any. We can also actually call it ether. So space or sky. So these are the 5 elements of which our outer body is made up of. Like you can touch your hand, you can touch your feet, you can touch your face and hair. Everything comes under a gross body. Now this gross body is not permanent. Okay, so what happens at the time of death? This gross body is also finished, or it is destroyed. Right? So as we discussed last time, that with Hindus, we burn the body. For Christians and Muslims, we bury the body. So the outer body that we see is destroyed. It is not permanent. It is a temporary body, for a couple of years, whatever age that God decides for us, we live for those number of years. And after that, this gross body is destroyed. So is this concept clear to everybody? Is there any doubt? Anybody who has joined new, or anybody, is it, I think it is very simple thing, that whatever we can see with our eyes is all a gross body. And it is not just for human beings, even for animals, whatever the outer layer, whatever you can see the animal from outside, it is all a gross body. Now let us move on to the next part. So as we had discussed, that the soul has two coverings, right? So the soul has two coverings. The first covering is the gross body. And the second covering is the subtle body. So if those who can read the from the chat, they can see that basically soul, which is not visible, will have two coverings. One is the outer covering that we all can see. Now there is another covering which we none of us can see. And that covering is called a subtle body. So subtle body is invisible. So how can we understand, or how can we prove something that we cannot see? So it is very difficult, right? But just because we can't prove, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So, subtle body and soul, everything exists. But it's just that we cannot see with our eyes. So every day, every night, so I'll give you an example. Every day, every night, we have this experience. Like last time, I think Nilima was asking this question. So this is the right time to explain that. Suppose you're lying down on bed and we start having dreams. So that dream actually happens because of the presence of our subtle body. We dream and we are somewhere else from our bedroom. So this is going on daily in our experience. We leave this gross body, take our subtle body, and we do something. We go to so many places in our dreams. We travel, we go to places which we have not even seen. Although at that time, our gross body is still lying in the bed. But it is because of the presence of this invisible subtle body that we are traveling. Actually, it is very difficult to imagine and understand these things. But if we simply accept that, yes, it exists, it does happen. Because slowly we do understand these concepts, but then it takes time. So let us just understand that, yes, the dreams and whatever is happening at the time of sleep, it is all because of the presence of our subtle body. Now, we discussed that the gross body is made up of 5 elements, right? Earth, air, water, fire, space. Fine. So what is it that is, what is it made of? What is the subtle body made of? The subtle body is made up of 3 things. First is the mind. Second is the intelligence. And third is the false ego. Now, if you look at these 3 things, mind, intelligence, false ego, can you see any of these 3 things?
Mataji, Prabhu, Ganesh Prabhu, they're saying no, we can't see. Hello?
Yes, sorry. Yeah, so correct. Yes, we cannot. Who is this? Lakshmi Bhai Soni. What is these? What are these emojis for? Thank you for sending these, but it actually disturbs the continuity of the class. So please don't send it in between. You can send it at the end of the class. Because some people take notes when we are putting things in the chat. So the continuity is disturbed. So you can share these nice things at the end of the class. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so we were discussing that our subtle body is made up of 3 things. So as Ganesh Prabhu said that, yes, we cannot see all these things. But we all know that we all have a mind. We also know that we all have some level of intelligence in us. So now, before we move on to understanding these 3 things, there is something also very, very important, which we are aware of, but we've not connected them with this subtle body. So I'll just quickly share one screen. So what are these 5 things? What are they together called? Is there any name for all of them together?
Ganesh Prabhu says 5 senses.
Yes, excellent. So these are called the 5 senses. We hear with our ears, we smell with our nose, we taste with our tongue, and we touch with our with our skin. We can feel things like something is hot or something is cold, so we can feel that from our the skin. And eyes, as we all know, we can see each other, we can see the entire world with our eyes. So everything we learn in this life is through our senses. So like for all of you, you're not able to hear, but how are you able to understand this class? Through your eyes, because you can see the interpreter, you can see Saurav, he is signing, and you are able to understand from your eyes. How is Saurav able to understand what I am speaking? He is understanding from his ears, because he can hear me, and he can hear me from his ears, and he can side by side he can sign, and you all can understand because you all can see. So whatever knowledge I'm trying to convey to you is all happening through our senses, right? So tomorrow, if you place a hot bowl of water in front of a child has no knowledge. Immediately the child will put hand in that hot water and it will start crying and take it up. How? Because the skin will touch the hot water and the child will know, oh, this is hot. So the senses, the skin is also a sense which tells us what is hot, what is cold. Similarly, if we are passing through a place which is full of garbage, we can have a bad stink. Or if we are passing from a garden full of flowers, we can have a beautiful fragrance. So the nose tells us, what is good, what is a good smell, what is a bad smell. So actually we are learning in our life. What is the first step we learn? The first step we are learning is everything through our senses. So these 5 senses are responsible for giving us knowledge, right? Now, what is happening from now? Next, move on. Now, we were talking about mind, intelligence, and ego. So these are the 3 things of which the subtle body is made of. So when we talk in terms of low to high, the lowest category to highest category, it is said that the senses are at the lowest level. And superior to senses is the mind. Superior to mind is intelligence. And superior to intelligence is the soul. So this is the level. From senses is at the lowest level, then superior than senses is the mind, superior than mind is intelligence, and from intelligence, superior is the soul. Okay. Now, how do we understand this pyramid. It's like a pyramid only, right? Bottommost, then senior, then superior.
Sorry, Mataji, your voice is breaking. I guess there's an internet problem.
Is it?
Yes, yes, Mataji. Because I'm missing you and I'm losing you in between.
It's saying unstable connection. Let me check my connection. 1 second. I'm just switched over my connection. Tell me, Saurav, now how it is. Huh? Is it better?
Much better, Mataji. Mataji, I think there's a new person named Lakshman by Sony. He's saying,
Right.
can I ask questions now? So I told him to hold.
Yes, thank you.
Mataji, maybe you can also tell him.
Yes, so we will take question answer. Once this class is over, then you can ask all your questions. So I would request questions to be related to this class, right? Otherwise, if you want to take some other question, we will have separate question answer session, which will be exclusively for 1 hour. In this class, whatever questions you need to ask, you should ask only related to what we are discussing here, okay? Fine. So now we are discussing about the mind. So let me just share the slide. So I don't want you to be confused with what is brain and what is mind. So brain is just a part of our body. And whatever thoughts that are taking place are taking place in our mind. So no need to get confused with both these things. These are two separate things. So what is happening in our mind is that the mind is, it is actually a storehouse. You know what is a storehouse? We store a lot of things. Like in our house also, where there is a storeroom sometimes, or in an office, there is a storehouse where all the stationery or all the office stuff is kept. So similarly, our mind also actually is a storehouse of thoughts. So, so this mind, what it has had, it has a lot of desires. It is a storehouse of all the experiences that we've had in our life. So what is the function of the mind? The mind has three functions. It thinks, it feels, and it desires. Mind thinks, it feels, and it desires. So what is happening is, we have senses, and from senses, so much of information is going, and all that information is being sent to the mind. Actually, it is said that in 1 second, we can have up to 60,000 thoughts. That is the speed of our mind. So many thoughts can actually cross our mind in just 1 second. So that how much powerful your mind is. So I will give you a small example how the mind works. So for example, sometimes you would have seen in our colony there is an a ice cream vendor, a person who from our ears that yes, that bell is ringing and that ice cream wala is there in the street. So the ears send a signal to the mind that, hey, listen, the ice cream vendor is here. Let's go and have an ice cream. Now, from your previous past experience, as I said that, that the mind is the storehouse of memories. So from your previous memory, you realize that ice cream actually is a very cold and tasty and sweet thing. How do you know that? Because your mind has that information stored. You had ice cream sometime back also. So that information is there in your mind. So the moment you hear the bell of ice cream wala, you realize that, oh, that person is again here and I want to enjoy that ice cream. So you quickly pick up your purse, you go down and you stop that person and you buy and take an ice cream and you enjoy it. So what is happening is your ears, your senses is sending the signal. What is the sense? Your ear heard, sent a signal. Your mouth started watering because you have tasted it earlier. Right? And with your skin, you had felt that it is cold and it is tongue said it was very tasty. So all those senses sent a signal to your mind that I must go and have an ice cream. So now this mind actually is nothing but a storehouse of lot of information. It is a storehouse of lot of past memories. Otherwise, how would you know that ice cream is cold and ice cream is tasty and it is very sweet and it is yummy? Because that information is stored in our mind. So the mind actually has, the duty of mind actually is only two things. I like it and I don't like it. Right? Only two things. He knows, the mind only knows two things, like or dislike. If I like it, I want it. If I don't like it, I will reject it. That's all. Right? So this is the only duty of the mind. But my dear friends, our mind is a very, very dangerous thing. Actually, when we read in our scriptures, mind is actually compared to a monkey that jumps from one branch to the other. Why? Because the mind never stays stable on one object. It has the nature of thinking about one object and think of another at the next moment. For example, so many women are in the group. Have you ever experienced that you go to the market to buy a salwar kameez or a chudar or a nightie for yourself in the market? And you buy one nightie or one chudar from one shop. And slowly when you go to the next shop, you find something better. Oh, why didn't I see this shop first? This chudar or this nightie is much better. Does that happen to you? So the mind is constantly, desiring this, desiring that. All the time it is desiring. It is thinking willing and desiring, and it wants it and it rejects it. So, can you see how our mind works? And it is very, very difficult to satisfy the mind, no matter how many desires you try to fulfill. Even then, the mind can never be satisfied. It always wants more. Like there was one logo of some cold drink, no? Ye dil mange more. I don't know if it was Pepsi or I don't know which ad it was. Ye dil mange more. I don't know, some cold drink ad it was. I want more, I want more, I want more. So that is the tendency. It is called a monkey mind. Our mind is compared to a monkey because monkeys are very, very mischievous. It is always jumping from one branch to the other. Similarly, our mind also is all the time jumping from one desire to the other desire. And no matter how much you fulfill its desire, it is never, never satisfied. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita 6.34, Arjun is telling Krishna, Arjun was a great warrior. He could control even the wind, he could control. With his arrows, he could control. He was a very, very great warrior. But Arjun says that, oh Krishna, I can control the wind with my arrows, but I cannot control this mind. This is the word of Arjun. What a big personality Arjun was. A great warrior. So Arjun said that, oh Krishna, my mind is restless. It is very strong. It is very stubborn. And how should I suppress it? How should I control it? I can control the wind, but I cannot control the mind. So let's look at the slide. So from senses, we are, our desires are coming to our mind. The senses see certain things and the mind says, I want it. And if the mind doesn't like it, it says, I don't want it. It rejects. For example, you are getting a job offer and you're not liking the salary package. So what will your mind say? Oh, I am so intelligent. Do you think I will work in such less salary? So the mind will reject the offer. And if you are getting bonus every year, you will say, oh, this company is very good. I will accept the offer. So the point is that the purpose of the mind is to accept and reject. But then the mind is also very mischievous. It is not easy to satisfy the mind. There are thousands and thousands of thoughts which are crossing. The mind is always desiring, and it is not an easy job to satisfy the mind. So actually, when our mind is, so much full of all the time desiring and desiring, want, I don't want, then actually it is said that mind is also the place of miseries. Why? Because when something I'm desiring, it is not fulfilled, I become sad, I become frustrated. So mind is actually what Arjun said, that it is difficult to control the mind. So mind is also responsible for giving us unhappiness. One place it gives us happiness, but at the same time, it also gives us lots of unhappiness. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is asking, Arjun is asking Krishna, oh Krishna, how should I control the mind? Because if you have a controlled mind, so although, see, there are so many things which we desire in this world, but it is not possible to get all those things. You want to become rich, or you want to become a billionaire, or you want to you want to have a luxurious car, or you want to have a wonderful house. So the mind wants all those things, but is it possible to get all those things? So when we don't get those things, when the mind is not able to get all those things, it becomes miserable and it starts giving us misery. So is it not important that our mind should be in our control? So let's look at this slide. So the mind can be our friend and a mind can be our enemy. If we are somehow able to control our mind, it is our best friend. And if we are not able to control our mind, it is our worst enemy. For example, if somebody tells me that I can start, gambling, and I can become rich within 15 days, and my mind accepts it, and I start gambling, and I lose all the earnings of my life, then is my mind a friend or is my mind an enemy in that case? Tell me.
So as you explained, Mataji, Ganesh Prabhu saying that mind is both, it's a friend and an enemy, and Madhura Mataji saying control is very important.
Correct. So in this situation, when I'm talking about gambling, if I listen to my mind and do, by listening to others, and I go and gamble and lose all my earnings, so in that situation, my mind is my enemy. Right? And if somebody tells you
enemy, Mataji, enemy.
Yes. And if somebody tells you that, if you chant, then all your sins will be washed away. And if you listen to your mind, and every day in the morning, if you chant one round of Hare Krishna, then is your mind a friend or is it an enemy? Then in that case, your mind becomes your yes.
Friend.
So the mind becomes your friend. Now, so the point is that we need to control the mind, right? So we do not have time for taking up the next level. So we have already done 2 levels now. We have already done senses and we have already done the mind. Now we need to move on to intelligence. So I'll give you a brief hint. Our mind can be controlled when we use our intelligence. Right? So we will discuss intelligence in the next class. Okay. So we are, if you, for you to revise, we are studying the subtle body. The subtle body is made up of three things. It is made up of mind, it is made up of intelligence, and it is made up of false ego. And one by one, we are trying to understand all these three things. Right? So we have already understood that how mind works. Mind is getting all informations from the senses. Mind is very restless. Mind is difficult to control. Mind is like a monkey. Mind gets almost 60,000 thoughts in a second. The objective of the mind, the duty of the mind is to either like it or dislike it, to accept it or to reject it. Mind is a storehouse of memories, right? So this is what all the mind is about. For example, if you've had a fight with somebody, next time if you meet that person, what will your reaction be? Would you like to talk to that person? You will maintain a distance with that person, right? Why? Because your mind already has some memories from the past experience, and your mind reminds you that, hey, listen, this person had a fight with you, so keep a distance from this person. This person always fights, right? So all that information about who's good, who's bad, who to accept, who to reject is all stored in our mind. So mind is nothing but a
Mataji, a short
storehouse
break
of.
I would need.
Yes, it's over. I'm going to take a break because this part is all over. We'll be taking up in the next class now. So I'm just winding it up. Fine. So is it clear? Is it kind of these fundamentals of what actually the mind is? Is it easy to understand? Like we were discussing that it is invisible. It is subtle body. It is, you can't see the mind. So is the entire thing clear? I want a yes if it is clear, and a doubt, please raise your hand or please come up with a question. If it is absolutely clear, I'm very happy that I'm able to convey about this. So please come up with a question. If there's any doubt, we'll take a small break. Hare Krishna, we can start questions, Varun.
Yes, Mataji. Shilpa Mataji was asking me the sign, the abstract, because it's the Indian sign.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Namaskar, Mataji. So Mataji, Kala Mataji is saying that if we have more ego, does it result in us getting further away from the Lord, from Krishna, from connecting with Krishna?
See, actually, we are talking about two kind of egos. Yes, definitely, ego is a very negative quality. But here we are talking about false ego. So there are two kind of egos which we learn from scriptures. False ego means uh, thinking that I am this body. So what is the first thing we learn in spiritual life is that who am I? And if any of you remember, we learned in Discover Yourself course last year that we conducted. Uh, the answer to who am I is that I am not this body. I am a soul. Right. So when I start thinking I am this body, I am an Indian, I am a woman, I am, this property is mine, these children are mine, everything belongs to me. That is false ego. We have to stop, we have to actually practice, we have to train our mind to believe that I am not this body, my body is temporary, I am actually a soul, which is just having this temporary body. So when we train our mind thinking that I am just this temporary body, I'm not permanent, then that is our real position. I am actually, we have to train ourselves thinking that I am a part and parcel of Krishna. I am an eternal servant of Krishna. And that is my correct position. I am not this body because this body is not permanent. After a couple of years, this body will get destroyed and I will move on to another body. So, what is permanent? That soul is permanent, right? Because the soul is constantly moving from one body to the next body to the next. So, this body that I'm in currently now, it is not permanent. So, that is false ego to identify that I am this body, which we will cover later on. So, definitely, ego is a very negative quality, as you said, and it takes us away from Krishna. Any negative quality takes us away from Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank
Makes
you.
sense. Hare Krishna. I had a very beautiful session today, Mataji. It was very interesting. My question is that the gross body and subtle body and the soul, within the subtle body, as you said, I'm just trying to understand the question. She says that, so if the subtle body, does it have a memory, for example, even after death, like a SIM card, like you said, it becomes like that, right? It remembers. It
So
remembers
Madhura is always
all the
one
Hare
step ahead.
Krishna. Sorry,
I'm
Mataji.
very, yeah.
Yeah, all the Hare Krishna chantings, like she said, that it has the memory of all of that.
So Madhura is generally one step ahead in the class. I'm very happy for that. So yes. So I'll give you a small example. When we're talking about memories, have you heard of any children in news who at the age of 5 play excellent piano? Or they are actually called prodigy children. Are uh, they are much ahead of their age. Have you heard of such children in news? At a very small age, they'll be able to recite the entire Bhagavad Gita at 3 years, 4 years. How do they do that? So it is all because of that subtle body. It is all because of those memories from past life. So when we're talking about chanting, whatever we have learned about Krishna, that all that information, as we were discussing about that USB drive, that it carries all information. So our subtle body, as I said, mind is nothing but it is a reserve. It is a reservoir of all memories. So that the entire package, that entire subtle body and soul, when it goes to another body, it also carries memories from past life. Most of the thing we forget because Krishna doesn't want us to remember bad things of our previous life. So we forget, but so many things we are able to reproduce because of this storehouse called mind. Because of this subtle body, it carries all the information from our previous life to the next life. How do you think all the karma get transferred? All the bad karma, all the good karma, how does it get transferred to the next birth? It all gets transferred because of the subtle body. Thank you for this question. You made things easy because we will be doing these in next coming up classes. So those who cannot understand, I'll tell Madhura to explain it to them now.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
I had a similar question like Madhira Mataji, but
Solved.
it's been responded.
Okay.
So hopefully. Purnima, I think 9th, Mataji.
Purnamasi,
Kartik, I think she's talking about the Kartik month.
Kartik.
Hopefully we have the Kartik sessions like we had last time.
Yes, we will be having. Please be ready with the ghee and deepam and photo.
No, I'm sorry, Mataji. She's saying I think the 9th when the Puran Damodar Ashtakam.
Yes, she's right. We'll be starting, I think, from 10th or 11th. I'll make an announcement. We'll be having that Aarti session every night, 15 minutes.
Acha, yes, Mataji, the Damodar Ashtakam, which we used to
I
do
got it.
every month we used to do the Aarti.
Yes, we'll do that next month.
It was very,
not
very
this
nice.
month, next month, this month, 10th or 11th, we'll start.
She says the 9th, Mataji.
9th is...
The Puranmasi is the 9th, I guess.
Yeah, from next day, from Purnamashi, we start usually. I'll check and I'll make an announcement.
The 9th, Mataji, is the calendar.
I'll check when we are doing in ISKCON. I'll let you know.
She's saying, Mataji, we must do it. We don't want to miss it.
Yeah. Even I don't want to miss. That is such a beautiful time of the year.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. Mataji, it's 5 o'clock. I can take just one last question.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I'm just trying to understand. She's talking about her family. I think a person, her father had passed away. So the soul, gross body, and the subtle body, Mataji, there is a doubt which I had that it's related to my father who passed away a long time back. And there was some sickness. Bangalore. So she stays in Bangalore. And some other Narshivaji or some other place. Nasik. 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 So she couldn't travel and meet because they were very, very far. She had work and he passed away. And she couldn't even call that person. That time there were no mobiles. He didn't have that kind of a smartphone, and he passed away. And she felt very bad. And they went, and the father already passed away by that time. So when she came back, she felt that there was some kind of a presence behind her, when she had come back, everybody was sleeping, and she felt there was some kind of a presence of a hand at the back of her, and there was a shadow kind of thing behind me. And it came close to me. I was very shocked. I looked back, but I couldn't see anything. And it just that my father, was this possible, maybe something like that happened. And it's just not one time, it was the second time also. I felt somebody was trying to catch me or hold me, but again, seeing back, there was nothing. But yeah, this experience, it never I remember it. So Mataji, can you?
So what I would suggest that during this time, when now that month has just gone, when we do satisfy our Pitru, that 1 month period is just gone. I think before Navratri, that period goes. So what devotees usually do, they do chant a lot. And I would suggest that you take some Ganga Jal in your hand, and you sit in front of the Lord, and you say that this water is for my father, and whatever chanting. So after that, you should chant 1 or 2 rounds of Mahamantra, and you just pray to the Lord that whatever piety you are collecting after chanting this mantra, whatever punya you are collecting from chanting this mantra, may all that punya go to to your father, and
Mataji, can
may
you
your
please repeat the water has to be put
yeah,
on
just
something?
take your hands. You just like doing a sankalpa actually. You just take water in your hand and you offer it like to your father, and that this
It
whatever
can be done in any place, Mataji.
any place, just be at your home, and sit on the floor in front of your in your puja room, and 3 times you offer water on the floor, and you just pray to the Lord that whatever chanting I'm doing, let that piety collected from that chanting go to your father, and may he gets liberated from whatever subtle body that he is in right now.
Mataji, since I'm explaining the process, does the water has to stay in the hand? It has to be
Yeah,
thrown
just pray and just throw it on the floor. That's it.
on the
Or you
floor.
on the floor, or you just transfer it to another vessel. Three times you do that, and you just pray to the Lord that this chanting, I don't want any piety from this. Let this chanting, good, whatever piety is there, let it go to my father. And believe me, your father will be pleased. He'll be around, and he will get all the benefit of that chanting, and he will become free from whatever subtle body that he might be in right now. And you should pray that he gets a good body, and he soon gets either a good body, or he goes to a next janma, or may Lord give him shelter at his lotus feet. So you pray, and I think you chant. The more you chant, the more and all that good karma should go to your father. All that chanting actually should be for the peace of your father, not for you. Actually, whatever chanting we do it for our good karma, no? But you should pray to the Lord, let everything go to your father. Okay? It's very, very powerful, and you trust me, it will work. He will be at peace. And if not, father, if suppose maybe there's some other soul who is in your house right now, and maybe because they also don't have a gross body, they are also in a very troubled still situation. Without body, even they are also having very lot of difficulty. So even if there is another soul, even that soul also will get peaceful. Video stopped, I think.
Yeah, Mataji.
I hope she got an answer. I think she was crying. So thank you so much, everybody. So maybe by 9th or 10th, we are beginning Kartik month. So I'll send
There's
prior
some
announcement.
people still raising their hands.
Only Vaishali is there, right?
There's Vaishali, there's other girl called Nanda, then Shilpa Mataji and Nirmal Prabhu were also raising their hand, and then there is woman
I
called
can't see.
Sunanya.
I can only see one hand, Vaishali's.
They were raising their hand, Mataji, not the emoticon, but they were raising their hand, like their own hand.
So you
Then
can
there
tell
is
them that
Nita Mataji also.
we will have one question answer round, especially because this is a very tough lesson to understand. So Ravi Verma kindly convey that I was in the hospital the past 2 days, and I don't know, he did a video call to me, and I'm supposed to send him a japa bag and mala. So I was not well, and I couldn't go to the temple. I've asked some devotee to get it for me. The moment I get it, I will courier it to him. I have his address with me. So he's been calling me video calls, but I wasn't able to convey it properly. So I'll get the mala and bag tonight. So probably day or two, I'll courier, speed post it to him. So we'll have an elaborate question and answer round, especially for this topic, because it is very difficult. I'm sure a lot of you will have questions. And
Vaishali says, Mataji, questions cancelled. Why?
to ask if you want, if you can take one question last, you can take
Mataji,
Saurav,
I'm
otherwise.
sorry, I don't have time. Sorry.
So you can kindly convey Saurav is busy or Saurav has another class.
No, Mataji, I have just 1 hour. No, single interpreter, 1 hour work.
So Vaishali, you can please reserve your question. And
so for example, Ganesh Prabhu says that we have more questions. There are more people who want questions.
so let's do one thing.
And there's
Let me
another
complete.
friend of Vaishali who says she also has a question. She's a new joinee.
So can we have a question answer round soon? So the entire 1 hour will only be for question answers. Kindly note down, reserve your questions, and I will organize one question answer round. Can we complete this subtle body? Can we complete mind, intelligence, and ego? And after that, we can have one good 1 hour question answer round. Is that okay? Just note down your questions and don't forget them to ask.
Okay, Mataji, I'm sorry, but I need to leave.
Yes, thank you. Please chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you and sorry for not taking your questions. Until next week, please reserve your questions. Bye-bye. Hare Krishna. And do watch the recording. I'll post the link in the group. Hare Krishna.